Hey, welcome once again, Indie Warriors, to another episode of upcoming indie games we're excited for. We had an insane August, but now September is really heating up with more indie gaming goodness. I'm Ole Gamer Joe, and before we dive into this batch of releases for the week of September 11th, 2023, please consider checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. Gain Discord access, exclusive live streams, ad and sponsor-free versions of shows like this one early, and even free games depending on your tier. Your community awaits you. So let's start this week at the Tavern. Tavernacle is a co-op tower defense title from Dama Dama Games. You play as dwarves with a goal of protecting the beer supply. The monsters in this world aren't so big on boozing and want to put an end to the dwarves' nonsense. Team up with 4 other dwarves and send them on their way. Sure, it might be a sausage fest, but at least everyone's having a good time. Hopefully you don't need to be drunk to enjoy this title. The premise is certainly amusing at the least. So now, next, let's get those detective caps on for Hauma, a detective noir story also launching on the 11th. Taking place in Munich, you'll play as ex-detective Judith, which by the way is an awesome song by a band called The Perfect Circle if you've never heard it. This visual novel experience is littered with puzzles, has a nice style to it, and will even be fully voice acted, so how about that? Moving right along, romance awaits in Eternights, a dark dating sim meets hack and slash with an anime aesthetic. I get some Persona vibes from this release and think it looks really fantastic. It will be interesting how falling in love right along with the end of the world plays out. Eternights looks like one of the best titles this September, but of course, we won't know how good it truly is until we get our hands on it. Now on to the Saturday morning cartoon segment of this episode. Yeah, the aesthetic of this one alone sells me on MythForce, a first-person roguelike action game. As many of you know, I was a 90s kid, so cartoons are very special to me from that era. I think this game looks like a blast, especially when you consider that you're able to take down dungeons with up to 4 players, avoid traps, and stop the forces of evil on the 12th. Suddenly I have the munchies, though I was taught as a kid not to play with my food, but that's exactly what you'll be doing in Noir. I wish I could play the music from this trailer, but YouTube will copyright flag me before the verse even hits. This game looks more like fun food art to mess around with than anything, but I could see it making for a highly entertaining live stream. The soundtrack will apparently dynamically react as you create whatever, including boba tea, so I'm in. Next, we have one of the bigger releases this week. It's Gunbrella. From what I've seen in trailers and previews, the game is set in a bleak yet beautifully crafted world that's filled with brown, hazy colors and atmospheric environments. Gunbrella is a side-scrolling action roguelike game. You'll be fighting off all sorts of insane monsters along the way with weapons that look like they're a blast to use. Another reason I'm stoked for Gunbrella is that it's being developed by Devolver Digital, a publisher that, of course, has a reputation for releasing some of the best indie games in the business. Gunbrella is indeed in good hands. Welcome to hell. Did you ever want to be in charge of the underworld? Then you might want to check out Heretic's Fork, a game that will immerse you in a terrifying adventure. Heretic's Fork is a strategy horror game that offers a unique blend of action and suspense. This deck builder will punish you for your sins, so get ready to play it on the unlucky 13th, if you dare. Let's go from hell to Deceit 2, which looks like a great way to socialize and make new friends, or maybe even lose some. The game hopes to build a thriving online community and allows for teams of 6 to 9 players. Playing as either the infected or innocent, this sandbox title looks to be full of drama, and you know we love drama here at I Dream of Indie Games. Not really. This isn't my usual genre, and I'm not sure I have enough friends to play with, but it looks fun for what it is. It's that time of the show where I probably screw up a title, AK-xolotl, coming to PC, Switch, PS, and Xbox. Here's one I know Silent Signs is excited for. AK-xolotl is an adorable pixel art style bullet hell game that combines tough as nails roguelike gameplay with the cutest little pink creatures you ever did see. The blend of precious pixel art and intense gameplay creates what looks to be an unforgettable gaming experience. Hell, you can even raise yourself an army of these adorable little hellions. And don't forget, axolotls can regenerate. This is sure to be pure chaos, and I'm here for it. Ad Infinitum is a first-person horror game set in the midst of World War I, where players must navigate through treacherous trenches and battlefields while encountering horrifying supernatural monstrosities. Ad Infinitum looks to be an immersive gameplay experience that should keep you on the edge of your seat. The historical setting mixed with the horror elements looks incredibly spooky, and you'll also need to use that noggin of yours as there are tons of puzzles to be solved. Next, we have a game from a familiar franchise that'll put your social deduction skills to the test once again. I'm talking about The Walking Dead Betrayal, a game that allows you to immerse yourself in the post-apocalyptic world of The Walking Dead. You'll work together to survive against the zombie invasion, but beware, as there may be a traitor amongst the group who is secretly working for the zombies. This creates a fun and exciting dynamic of trying to figure out who you can trust. Furthermore, the game also incorporates various scenarios that will keep the gameplay fresh and exciting. So if you're a fan of social deduction games or just looking to try something new, The Walking Dead Betrayal is a game that you definitely won't want to miss, especially if you're a fan of the series. Pixel art action RPG Fading Afternoon also fades into view on September 14th, offering an intriguing visual style and premise. Play as middle-aged Yakuza Seija Maruyama as he faces his life outside of prison walls. I've played a few of this developer's games in the past, and we'll just have to see how he does on his latest release. Get ready for a thrilling adventure with Railroads and Catacombs, a card builder set in a dark underworld. Explore tunnels and tracks as you build from 12 different carriages while meeting and hopefully befriending survivors along the way. Featuring 5 different combat styles and tons of different cards, this original-looking indie is one worth keeping an eye on. Now on to Solace State, Emotional Cyberpunk Stories. This is a visually stunning interactive fiction game that seamlessly combines emotional storytelling and a very gritty cyberpunk backdrop. This one's supposed to take players on a thought-provoking journey through a dystopian world where personal and political conflicts intertwine, pushing them to make tough choices and experience the consequences of their actions. Full of tense atmosphere and clever puzzles, Ugly is up next. The narrative and puzzle design seem to be the main focus of the game, but I'm also impressed with the dark artwork, which looks excellent. Loaded with secrets and even alternate endings, Ugly is arriving just in time for spooky season, and hopefully the gameplay isn't ugly at all. Rounding out September 14th, Thunder Ray offers a charming 16-bit throwback to the classic Super Punch-Out! This nostalgia trip looks visually appealing, and if you're a fan of classic Punch-Out style games, this one's probably a no-brainer. While I can't promise you Bald Bull will show up, and there definitely won't be any Mike Tyson sightings, you should still consider putting on your gloves and getting ready for some hard-hitting action. Now draw your swords, because Wandering Sword is another sharp-looking title releasing this week. Drawing inspiration from ancient China with beautifully crafted environments, the game looks to offer a deep and engaging narrative filled with moral choices and character development. The Steam description boasts a robust combat system combining fluid martial art movements and special abilities, with an emphasis on mastering different fighting styles and utilizing strategy during battles. And don't forget about those RPG elements. It seems like Wandering Sword has a little bit of something for everyone. Boti, I think it's Boti Byteland Overclocked, a captivating platformer set in a cyberpunk world, comes out on September 15th. With stunning visuals and the unique ability to overclock Boti's skills and unlock new ones, Boti might just become your next favorite platformer mascot on this epic journey to save Byteland from a corrupt AI. One thing's for certain, I'm not grinding my gears on whether I'll be picking this one up. It's definitely a no-brainer. And last but certainly not least, we have Fear the Spotlight, inspired by the beloved PlayStation 1 era of gaming. With low polygon graphics, an ominous enemy, and a haunting style, I simply cannot wait to play this nod to horror gaming's past. Lurking around dimly lit corridors and solving puzzles like my life depends on it is something I'm greatly looking forward to, and I'm also looking forward to seeing more of you indie warriors on the channel next week for all of this wonderful content. I'm sure we'll have a bunch of reviews of many of these games, as well as so much more. Thank you for supporting independent content over at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. It means the world to us. Voice to the voiceless, and I'll see y'all on the channel.